Welcome. Tonight, we are going to take a journey. It is a journey not of distance, but of time. But before we take a single step backward into the mists of history, I want you to take a moment to fully arrive right where you are. Close your eyes. Let the heavy curtains of your eyelids fall gently shut. The day is done. The tasks are finished. There is nothing left for you to solve, nothing left for you to answer. There is only this moment, and the safe, quiet sanctuary of your room. I want you to bring your attention to the surface beneath you. Feel the way your mattress rises to meet the weight of your body. Notice how it contours to your shape, supporting your shoulders, your back, your hips, and your legs. It is a marvel of engineering, designed for one singular purpose, your absolute comfort. Now notice the fabric against your skin. Perhaps it is the cool, crisp touch of high thread count cotton sheets, or maybe it is the gentle, warm embrace of a flannel blanket. Feel the pillow beneath your head, a soft cloud that cradles your neck, aligning your spine, allowing your muscles to finally let go of the tension they have held for so long. Take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with the clean, temperature-controlled air of your room, and exhale slowly, sinking deeper into the bed. This feeling, this softness, this warmth, this safety, is what I call the velvet of the present. We often move through our modern lives so quickly that we forget to marvel at the sheer luxury of our existence. We live in a world where the night is tamed by the flip of a switch, where the cold is banished by the hum of a furnace, and where the ground we sleep on is as soft as a cloud. We are going to use this feeling, this velvet of the present, as our anchor tonight. Because to truly appreciate how soft your life is right now, we must look at what came before. We must look at the roughness of the past. You have likely heard people say they were born in the wrong era. We romanticize the days of old, the medieval times, the age of castles and kings, knights and chivalry. We watch movies where heroes ride gallantly through forests, their cloaks billowing in the wind, looking majestic and powerful. In our imaginations, the past is a golden painting. But if you were truly transported back there, not as a king, but just as a human being, you would quickly realize a stark truth. You wouldn't last a day. And that is not because you are weak. It is because you are evolved for a different kind of world. You are a creature of comfort, and tonight, that is something to be celebrated. Imagine just for a moment that the soft pillow under your head dissolves. In its place is a bolster of rough hemp cloth, stuffed tightly with straw that hasn't been changed in weeks. It is lumpy, hard, and smells faintly of dust and dried earth. There is no memory foam here. There is no give. Imagine that the smooth sheet covering you is replaced by a heavy, scratchy wool blanket. It weighs down on your chest, not with the comforting pressure of a modern weighted blanket, but with a coarse, abrasive heaviness. Every time you move, the fibers catch against your skin. There is no relief from the texture. This is the roughness of the past. In the medieval world, comfort was not a right. It was a rare and fleeting accident. Sleep was not a leisure activity. It was a desperate biological necessity snatched between hours of grueling survival. As you lie there now, perfectly warm, consider the temperature of the past. In your room, the air is still. It is likely set to a precise number, perhaps 68 or 70 degrees. But in the stone chamber of a medieval dwelling, the air was a living, hostile thing. Without insulation, the stone walls acted like a refrigerator, trapping the cold of the night. If you were lucky enough to have a fire, one side of you would be roasting while the other froze. The air would not be clean. It would be thick with the acrid smoke of a wood fire that had no proper chimney to escape through. Your eyes would sting, your throat would tickle. But here, in the present, the air is clear. Breathe it in again. Feel the gratitude for that simple, invisible luxury. We are going to drift back to that time tonight. We will walk the muddy streets, feel the weight of the heavy clothes, and taste the grit in the bread. But we will do so as observers. You are safe here, wrapped in your velvet cocoon. You are merely watching, like a traveler looking through a thick glass window at a storm raging outside. The storm cannot touch you. The cold cannot reach you. The contrast between then and now is the key to your relaxation. Every time we describe the hardness of a medieval floor, I want you to feel the softness of your bed even more deeply. Every time we speak of the darkness and the fear of the unknown night, I want you to feel the safety of your locked doors and your secure home. There is a profound peace in realizing that you do not have to survive the Middle Ages. You have already won the lottery of history just by being here, right now. You don't have to fetch water from a frozen well tomorrow morning. You don't have to worry about the harvest failing. You don't have to fear the silence of a world without medicine. All you have to do is lie here. All you have to do is let the heaviness of your own body sink further into the mattress. Let your shoulders drop another inch. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue rest gently on the roof of your mouth. We are about to step out of this room into the pre-dawn chill of a time long forgotten. We are going to explore why the modern human, with all our softness, is exactly where we belong. The velvet of the present is wrapping around you. The noise of the modern world has faded away, leaving only my voice. And the noise of the medieval world, the clatter of hooves, the ringing of iron, the shouting of merchants, is still far off in the distance. Here, there is only peace. Here, there is only warmth. As we prepare to open the door to history, hold on to this feeling. The feeling of gratitude. The feeling of absolute, unshakable comfort. You are safe, you are warm, and you are ready to see the world as it once was, glad that you are merely a visitor and not a resident of the past. Drift now. Let your imagination float. The modern world is fading. The lights are dimming. The years are peeling away, layer by layer, century by century. 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, 500 years. We are going back. Back to the stone, back to the wool, back to the beginning of the day, in a world that never truly slept. End of chapter 1. The listener is now relaxed, grateful for their bed, and mentally prepared for the historical descriptions in the next chapter. We have arrived. The velvet curtain of the present has been pulled back. The hum of electricity has vanished. The ambient glow of streetlights outside your window is gone. You are now awake in the deep, heavy silence of the 14th century. Imagine, while you lie safely in your bed, that you are opening your eyes in a chamber built entirely of stone. There is no drywall here. There is no insulation. There is only granite, limestone, and mortar. Thick, imposing walls that have stood for 100 years and will stand for 100 more. But stone is a cruel roommate. While it protects you from the arrows of enemies and the claws of wolves, it holds no love for warmth. In the summer, the stone is pleasantly cool. But now, in the depths of winter, the walls have become blocks of ice. They absorb the freezing temperature of the night and radiate it inward, creating a refrigerator-like atmosphere that seeps into everything. Lie still and imagine the air in this room. It is not the dry, conditioned air you are used to. It is heavy. It is damp. It carries the scent of ancient dust, cold ash, and the metallic tang of moisture clinging to rock. If you were to take a breath in this room, and you can do so now, slowly, in the safety of your own warm home, you would feel the shock of it. In the medieval chamber, your breath would not be invisible. You would exhale, and a thick cloud of white mist would hang before your eyes, suspending in the stillness like a ghost. That is how cold it is inside your bedroom. There is no thermostat on the wall to check. There is no dial to turn. The temperature is simply the temperature, and it is unforgiving. Your eyes adjust to the darkness. It is pitch black, a darkness so absolute it feels heavy on the skin. But over in the corner of the room, there is a faint, dying glow. This is the hearth. Before you went to sleep, a fire roared there. It was the heart of the room, the only source of light and heat. But wood burns quickly, and the night is long. Now only a bed of deep red embers remains, pulsing faintly like a slowing heartbeat. They offer no real warmth to you now, only a reminder of the heat that has been lost. In this time, there is a constant, low-level anxiety about that fire. If it goes out completely, relighting it is not a simple matter of flicking a lighter. It involves striking flint against steel, nursing a spark into tinder, and coaxing a flame to life with freezing fingers. So, even in your sleep, a part of your medieval mind is listening to the fire, worrying about the fire. But you do not need to worry. Your heat is automatic. Your warmth is guaranteed. Feel the gratitude for that wash over you. Back in the stone chamber, you shift beneath your covers. You are likely sharing this bed. In medieval times, privacy was a luxury few could afford, and body heat was a resource to be hoarded. Perhaps you are huddled next to family members, or perhaps even servants. Everyone instinctively pressing closer together to form a barrier against the encroaching chill. You are covered in heavy furs and rough wool blankets. They are heavy, weighing down on your chest. But unlike your modern duvet, which traps your body heat efficiently, these covers are porous. The cold air finds its way in. It creeps under the edges of the blanket. It nips at your nose and your ears, the only parts of you exposed to the biting air. And then there is the draft. Look towards the window. It is not a window as you know it. There is no double-paned glass sealing the world away. Glass is rare, expensive, and usually reserved for churches or the very wealthy. Instead, you have a hole in the stone wall covered by a wooden shutter. The wood has warped over time. Gaps have formed between the shutter and the stone frame. Outside, the wind is howling across the moors or whistling through the narrow city streets. And that wind forces its way through the cracks. You can hear it, a high-pitched whistling sound, a constant reminder of the hostile world outside. A thin stream of freezing air cuts across the room like an invisible knife. If you are unlucky enough to sleep on the side of the bed nearest the wall, you feel that draft constantly, a relentless current of cold that stiffens your neck and makes you pull your knees up to your chest. Your body in this timeline is stiff. The mattress is merely a sack filled with straw, resting on ropes or wooden slats. The straw has compressed over the months, becoming hard and lumpy. It offers no support for your spine. You wake up not refreshed, but achy. Your joints feel tight, seized up by the combination of the hard surface and the penetrating dampness. This is the pre-dawn chill. It is that hour before the sun rises when the world is at its coldest. In the medieval mind, this was a time of vulnerability. The night terrors were still active, but the duties of the day were calling. You know that soon you must leave the relative warmth of the furs. You know that the moment you toss the covers aside, the cold will hit your skin like a physical blow. You will have to stand on the stone floor, barefoot or in thin wool stockings, and the chill of the floor will shoot straight up your legs. The anticipation of that cold is a mental weight. It makes you want to curl up tighter, to refuse the day, to stay hidden in the dark. But let us pause that image. Let us step back from the stone chamber for a moment. Return to your body, right here, right now. Feel the sheets against your legs. They are not damp. They are dry and smooth. Feel the air in your room. It is still. There is no wind whistling through cracks in your walls. Feel the mattress. It is soft, forgiving, holding you up. You do not have to get up. You do not have to step onto a freezing stone floor. You do not have to rush to feed a dying fire before your hands go numb. You have lasted the night in the modern world. It was easy. It was gentle. As you visualize that medieval sleeper shivering in the dark, waiting for the first gray light of dawn to touch the wooden shutters, allow yourself to sink deeper into your own warmth. It feels even more luxurious now, doesn't it? In the stone chamber, the light is beginning to change. The pitch black is turning to a dull, bruised purple, and then a cold slate gray. The rooster has not yet crowed, but the rhythm of the village or the castle is stirring. You can hear the muffled sounds of others waking up, a cough in the distance, the scrape of a wooden bucket against stone, the heavy thud of a door closing. The world is waking up to a day of hardship. But you are safe. You are insulated from the stone, from the drafts, and from the frost. You are merely a dreamer, floating above the cold, wrapped in the cloud of the 21st century. Stay here in the warmth. The fire in the hearth may be dying out in 1350, but your warmth is endless. Rest in this knowledge. The cold cannot touch you. The stone cannot chill your bones. You are warm, you are soft, you are at peace. End of chapter 2. The listener is now fully immersed in the contrast, feeling physically warmer due to the description of the cold, and ready to explore the next difficulty, the clothing. You are still lying in the warmth of the present, but let your mind drift back to that cold stone chamber. You have managed to pull yourself from the bed. The freezing air has slapped your skin. Now you face the first great labor of the medieval day, getting dressed. In your modern life, dressing is an act of moments. You might slip into a pair of jeans that stretch with your movement, or a t-shirt made of cotton so refined it feels like a second skin. You have zippers that seal in an instant. You have elastic waistbands that hold without binding. You have Velcro. You have buttons that slide easily through their holes. But in the Middle Ages, clothing was not about comfort, and it was certainly not about ease. It was an armor against the elements. It was an engineering project. Stand there in the imaginary dim light of the morning and look at the pile of clothes waiting for you on a wooden chest. The first layer you must put on is linen. It is the medieval underwear known as a shift or braise. In the summer, linen is breathable, but on this winter morning, the fabric is stiff with cold. It has been sitting in this unheated room all night. As you pull the linen shift over your head, it feels like a sheet of ice draping over your body. It shocks your skin, raising goosebumps instantly. The fabric is not soft like your modern sheets. It is homespun, slightly uneven, with little knots and ridges in the weave that you will feel against your back all day long. But the linen is the kindest layer you will wear. What comes next is the wool. In the modern world, we think of wool as a luxury, soft merino, cashmere, blends that caress the skin. Medieval wool was different. It was the workhorse of survival. It was heavy, thick, and incredibly coarse. Imagine putting on a sweater that has never been treated with softener. A sweater that still holds the faint, oily scent of the sheep's lanolin and the acrid smell of the dye vat. You pull the tunic or the kirtle over your head. It is heavy. Immediately, you feel the weight of it settling onto your shoulders. It is a physical burden. The fibers are short and prickly. Even through the linen underlayer, you can feel the scratchiness. It itches at your neck. It chafes at your wrists. It is a constant low-level irritation that you simply have to ignore because you have no other choice. And there is no elastic. This is something we take for granted every single day. When you put on socks in 2024, they stay up. They hug your calves. In the medieval morning, you must wrestle with hose. These are separate leggings of wool or linen that do not stay up on their own. You have to tie them. Imagine your fingers, numb from the cold room, trying to manipulate small, stiff cords. These are called points. You have to thread them through eyelets and tie them to a belt or a breeches band. Your fingers fumble. The knot slips. You have to start again. It is a frustrating, clumsy process, requiring a dexterity that your frozen hands do not want to give. Everything must be tied. Everything must be laced. Consider the tunic itself. It might be tight-fitting to preserve heat. Without zippers to open it up, you have to squeeze into it. It confines you. Once it is on, your range of motion changes. You cannot swing your arms freely. You cannot twist your torso easily. You are encased in layers of heavy cloth. And then there is the belt. A leather belt is not just an accessory here. It is a necessity. Without pockets, for pockets have not truly been invented yet, everything you own must be hung from your waist. A pouch for a coin, if you have one, a small knife for eating, perhaps a tool. You strap this leather belt tight around your waist, cinching the heavy wool against your stomach. It digs in. It binds you. You are now wearing 5, perhaps 10 pounds of clothing, and you haven't even put on your shoes. Medieval shoes are not the cushioned sneakers or supportive boots you know. They are simple turn shoes made of leather. The soles are thin. When you slip your feet into them, there is no arch support. There is no shock absorption. When you walk, you will feel every cobble, every root, every frozen rut in the mud. Finally, you must cover your head. A coif of linen tied tightly under the chin, followed by a heavy wool hood. The hood settles over your shoulders like a yoke. It restricts your peripheral vision. To look left or right, you must turn your entire body. You are now fully dressed. Pause for a moment and feel the sensation of that medieval body. You feel heavy. You feel restricted. The wool is scratching at your neck. The belt is digging into your waist. The cold air is still finding its way through the laces, while the weight of the fabric traps your sweat against your skin. You feel claustrophobic, wrapped in a cocoon of rough fiber. Now, let it all fall away. Bring your awareness back to your bed, back to right now. Feel the clothes you are wearing or not wearing at this moment. Perhaps you are in a loose cotton t-shirt. Perhaps you are in silk or soft flannel. Or perhaps you feel the freedom of the sheets against your bare skin. Notice how light you feel. There is no weight on your shoulders. There are no tight laces cutting off your circulation. There is no scratchy wool biting at your neck. You are free. Your body is unburdened. You can move your legs and the fabric moves with you, silent and soft. You can take a deep breath and there is no tight belt restricting your diaphragm. The contrast is delicious, isn't it? The medieval humans spent their entire day fighting their own clothing. But you are floating in a sea of softness. Wiggle your toes. Feel the space around them. No tight leather pinching them. Roll your shoulders. Feel the ease of the movement. No heavy cloak dragging them down. The struggle of the morning ritual in the past was a fight against the materials of the world. But your world has been smoothed down. The rough edges have been sanded away. The heavy wool has been spun into clouds of cotton. You don't have to tie a single knot. You don't have to lace a single string. You are completely undone in the best possible way. Let the relief of that lightness sink into your muscles. You are not armored for battle against the cold. You are dressed for the gentle surrender to sleep. The heavy layers of history are falling to the floor, leaving you light, leaving you warm, leaving you perfectly at ease. As you lie there, grateful for the invention of elastic, grateful for the softness of modern textiles, you realize that the sun has now fully risen in our medieval story. The dressing is done, but the day is only beginning. And now that you are dressed, the hunger begins to set in. The stomach rumbles, demanding fuel for the hard labor ahead. But there is no refrigerator to open. There is no coffee pot bubbling on the counter. We must go and find breakfast. But for now, just for this moment, enjoy the feeling of being light as a feather, sinking deeper and deeper into the velvet of the present. End of chapter 3. The listener is now hyper-aware of their physical comfort and lack of restriction. Prepare to move on to the next sensory experience, the taste and texture of medieval food. You are drifting deeper now. The heavy wool clothes of our story are on your body, but in reality, you are light. You are safe in your bed. In our medieval journey, the sun has just crested the horizon. The stone room is gray and dim. You are dressed, stiff and heavy, and now your body makes its first demand of the day. You are thirsty, and you are hungry. In your modern life, the morning ritual is a symphony of aromas and ease. Perhaps you walk into a kitchen where a machine has already prepared your coffee. The smell of roasted beans fills the air, a rich, dark, awakening scent that promises energy. You pour a cup. It is hot. It is smooth. It wakes up your brain with a gentle chemical kiss. Or perhaps you reach for a glass of water. You turn a handle and crystal clear liquid flows endlessly. You might add ice. It is crisp, pure, and refreshing. It washes away the sleep. But in the year 1350, as you stand in that cold room, there is no coffee. The concept of caffeine as a morning ritual is centuries away from this continent. There is no tea. There is no orange juice. You are thirsty, and your throat is dry from the smoke of the fire. You look at the bucket of water standing in the corner, but you do not drink it. You dare not drink it. In the medieval mind, water is suspicious. It is the carrier of sickness. The river that flows through the village is also the sewer. To drink a cup of plain water is to gamble with your life, to invite the fever, the flux, or the plague. So, how do you quench your morning thirst? You reach for a jug of ale. It is not the cold carbonated beer of a modern Friday night. This is small beer. It is weak, brewed quickly to kill the bacteria. It is room temperature, which in this house means it is cool but clammy. It is flat. It is thick. Imagine lifting a wooden or pewter mug to your lips first thing in the morning. You take a drink. It tastes of yeast, of sour grain, and of fermentation. It coats your tongue. It is heavy in your empty stomach. It provides calories, yes, but it does not provide that crisp clarity of ice water. It leaves you feeling slightly sluggish, a heavy start to a heavy day. You wipe the foam from your lip with the back of your rough wool sleeve. The thirst is dulled, but the fog of sleep remains. There is no caffeine to sharpen your mind. You must face the hard labor of the day with nothing but your own natural will. And now, the hunger. You move to the table. It is a trestle table, simple, rough-hewn planks set upon legs. There are no placemats, no napkins. Breakfast is not a feast. It is a utility. It is called breaking the fast, and it is quite literal. You are breaking the hunger of the night so you can work. In the center of the table sits the staple of your existence, the bread. Bring to your mind the softest bread you have eaten recently. A fluffy croissant that shatters into buttery flakes. A slice of white sandwich bread that squishes between your fingers. Now, erase that image. The loaf on the medieval table is dark, dense, and formidable. It was likely baked days ago. Fresh bread is a luxury. Stale bread is a reality. It has a hard crust that resembles tree bark. It is heavy, like a brick in your hand. You do not slice this bread with a serrated knife. You hack at it with a dagger, or you tear it with your hands, using significant force. You take a piece, you put it in your mouth, and immediately you notice the texture. It is dry. It sucks the moisture from your mouth, which is why you need that sour ale to wash it down. But as you chew, you feel something else. Crunch. A subtle, gritty, sandy sensation between your teeth. This is not a mistake. This is a feature of the time. The flour for this bread was ground between two massive millstones. As the stones ground the grain, they also ground against each other. Tiny, microscopic fragments of rock and sand chipped off and mixed into the flour. Every bite of bread you eat in the Middle Ages contains a little bit of the earth. Imagine the sensation of chewing that grit. It is a slow, abrasive process. It wears down the enamel of your teeth. Over a lifetime, this bread will grind a person's teeth flat. You chew carefully. You are always aware of your teeth. In a world without dentists, a broken tooth from a hidden pebble in the bread could mean weeks of agony. or worse, an infection that could end your life. Eating is not a passive, mindless act while scrolling through your phone. Eating is a careful negotiation with the food. The flavor is sour, earthy, and nutty. It is rye or barley or oats. It is filling, sitting in your stomach like a stone, meant to keep you full for 10 hours of labor. There is no sweet jam to spread on it. Maybe, if you are lucky, a scrape of salted butter that has started to turn rancid, or a piece of hard cheese. This is your fuel, cold ale and sandy bread. Now, pause. Stop chewing that phantom bread. Swallow the memory and return to the velvet present. Feel your mouth. Your jaw is relaxed. Your teeth are resting gently, not grinding against stone. Think of the water sitting on your nightstand or the kitchen tap just a few steps away. Pure, safe, clean. You can drink it without fear. You can hydrate your body with liquid that feels like life itself. Think of your breakfast tomorrow. It can be whatever you want. Soft oats, sweet fruit, toasted bread that crunches because it is crisp, not because it is full of rocks. You do not have to struggle for your calories. You do not have to fight your food. The medieval human ate to survive. You eat to nourish and enjoy. Let a wave of relief wash over your stomach. It is not heavy with sour ale. It is light. It is at rest. You have broken the fast of the history books, and you have seen how hard it was, but you do not have to live it. You can let the image of the dark, smoky room fade away. The wooden mug dissolves. The hard loaf crumbles into dust. The grit vanishes. You are left only with the softness of your pillow and the rhythm of your breath. You are well fed, well watered, and safe. The struggle of the medieval morning is over for our imaginary traveler. They must now open the heavy oak door and step out into the world. They must walk into the street. But you do not have to move a muscle. You can stay right here, where the water is clean and the bread is soft. Drift deeper into that feeling of satisfaction. The heavy work of chewing, of digesting, of surviving, it is not yours to carry tonight. Sleep is the only nourishment you need right now. And as we prepare to open that door and step into the medieval street, you can feel safe knowing that the mud and the noise cannot reach you here. Rest now. The breakfast is done. The day awaits, but you are already drifting away. You have eaten your hard bread. You have swallowed your sour ale. The stone chamber is behind you. Now the day truly begins. In your mind's eye, reach out and grasp the handle of the heavy oak door that leads to the outside world. It is iron, cold, and rough with rust. You pull the door open. It swings on heavy hinges with a groan that echoes in your bones. And instantly, the world hits you. In your modern life, leaving your house is a seamless transition. You step from a climate-controlled room into a climate-controlled car, or onto a paved, level sidewalk. The air might be different, but the ground is predictable. The order is maintained. But here, in the year 1350, there is no pavement, there is no asphalt, there is only the muddy path. Step over the threshold. Your thin leather shoe sinks immediately into the surface of the street. It is not just dirt. It is a thick, churning paste of mud, clay, rain, and straw. But look closer, from the safety of your imagination. The street is also the sewer. There is no underground plumbing here. The refuse of the city, The ash from the fires, the scraps from the kitchens, and the waste from the chamber pots is tossed out of the windows and into the street. Gardez-l'eau, the cry goes out from a window above. Watch out for the water. The street is a living, breathing compost heap. As you take a step, you feel the ground slide beneath you. Every step is a negotiation. You cannot walk with the confident long strides you use in a modern city. You must trudge. You must look down constantly, scanning for the driest patch of earth, hopping from one slippery stone to another to avoid sinking ankle deep into the muck. And then the smell hits you. Take a gentle breath in your room right now. Notice the quality of the air. It is neutral. It might smell faintly of laundry detergent or the clean scent of rain outside your window. It is filtered. It is pure. You can drink it without fear. You can hydrate your body with liquid that feels like life itself. Think of your breakfast tomorrow. It can be whatever you want. Soft oats, sweet fruit, toasted bread that crunches because it is crisp, not because it is full of rocks. You do not have to struggle for your calories. You do not have to fight your food. The medieval human ate to survive. You eat to nourish and enjoy. Let a wave of relief wash over your stomach. It is not heavy with sour ale. It is light. It is at rest. You have broken the fast of the history books, and you have seen how hard it was, but you do not have to live it. You can let the image of the dark, smoky room fade away. The wooden mug dissolves. The hard loaf crumbles into dust. The grit vanishes. You are left only with the softness of your pillow and the rhythm of your breath. You are well fed, well watered, and safe. The struggle of the medieval morning is over for our imaginary traveler. They must now open the heavy oak door and step out into the world. They must walk into the street. But you do not have to move a muscle. You can stay right here, where the water is clean and the bread is soft. Drift deeper into that feeling of satisfaction. The heavy work of chewing, of digesting, of surviving, it is not yours to carry tonight. Sleep is the only nourishment you need right now. And as we prepare to open that door and step into the medieval street, you can feel safe knowing that the mud and the noise cannot reach you here. Rest now. The breakfast is done. The day awaits. End of chapter 4. The listener is now feeling a sense of internal ease, having contrasted the harshness of medieval diet with modern abundance. They are ready to visualize the environment outside the home in the next chapter. You have eaten your hard bread. You have swallowed your sour ale. The stone chamber is behind you. Now the day truly begins. In your mind's eye, reach out and grasp the handle of the heavy oak door that leads to the outside world. It is iron, cold, and rough with rust. You pull the door open. It swings on heavy hinges with a groan that echoes in your bones. And instantly, the world hits you. In your modern life, leaving your house is a seamless transition. You step from a climate-controlled room into a climate-controlled car, or onto a paved level sidewalk. The air might be different, but the ground is predictable. The order is maintained. But here, in the year 1350, there is no pavement, there is no asphalt, there is only the muddy path. Step over the threshold. Your thin leather shoe sinks immediately into the surface of the street. It is not just dirt. It is a thick, churning paste of mud, clay, rain, and straw. But look closer. From the safety of your imagination, The street is also the sewer. There is no underground plumbing here. The refuse of the city, the ash from the fires, the scraps from the kitchens, and the waste from the chamber pots is tossed out of the windows and into the street. Gardez-l'eau, the cry goes out from a window above. Watch out for the water. The street is a living, breathing compost heap. As you take a step, you feel the ground slide beneath you. Every step is a negotiation. You cannot walk with the confident long strides you use in a modern city. You must trudge. You must look down constantly, scanning for the driest patch of earth, hopping from one slippery stone to another to avoid sinking ankle deep into the muck. And then the smell hits you. Take a gentle breath in your room right now. Notice the quality of the air. It is neutral. It might smell faintly of laundry detergent or the clean scent of rain outside your window. It is filtered. It is pure. In the medieval street, the air is thick enough to taste. It is a dense fog of wood smoke clinging to the wool of your clothes. Beneath the smoke is the smell of unwashed humanity, of thousands of people living in close quarters without showers. And beneath that is the sharp ammonia tang of animal waste. Because this is not just a street for people, it is a barnyard. As you make your way down the narrow alley, the buildings looming over you and blocking out the sky, you are not alone. A sow and her piglets are rooting through a pile of garbage in the middle of the path. They do not move for you. You must step around them, pressing your back against the rough daub and wattle wall of a house. The pig grunts, snapping at a piece of rotten cabbage. Chickens dart between your legs, frantic and loud. A stray dog, rib cage showing, barks at a horse that is being led by a merchant. In the modern world, we have separated the farm from the city, but here they are one and the same. The chaos of nature is right there, under your feet, breathing in your face. And the noise, oh, the noise. Lie still in your bed and listen to the silence of your home. Perhaps you hear the distant hum of a refrigerator or a car passing miles away. But mostly, you are cocooned in silence. Your windows are double-paned glass, miracles of engineering that seal the world away. In the medieval street, there is no insulation. The noise is overwhelming. Listen to the sound of a cart approaching. It does not have rubber tires. It has massive wooden wheels rimmed with iron. As it rolls over the uneven cobblestones, it creates a deafening, bone-shaking clatter. Clack, tack, clack, clack. It echoes off the stone walls, amplifying the sound until it fills your head. Merchants are shouting their wares, desperate to be heard over the din. Hot pies, fresh herring, oysters. Blacksmiths are hammering iron, a rhythmic, ringing clang that pierces the air. Beggars are calling out for alms. Children are screaming. Animals are bleating. It is a cacophony of life, unfiltered and raw. There is no mute button. There is no rolling up the window. You are exposed to it all. Your head begins to throb with the intensity of it. Your feet are cold and wet, the dampness of the mud seeping through the thin leather of your shoes. The hem of your heavy wool tunic is splattered with the filth of the road. You feel small. You feel vulnerable. In this chaotic river of mud and noise, you are just one more body trying to get to work. But now, stop. Freeze the scene. Let the cart stop its clattering. Let the merchant mid-shout fall silent. Let the mud dry up and vanish. Pull your consciousness back from that dirty, noisy street. Pull it back through time, across the centuries, and land gently back in your bed. Feel the clean, dry sheets against your feet. There is no mud here. There is no dampness seeping into your bones. Listen to the room. The iron wheels are gone. The shouting is gone. The pigs are gone. There is only the soft rhythm of your own breathing. In your modern world, you have conquered the environment. You have paved the mud. You have silenced the noise. You have cleaned the air. You are floating in a sanctuary that a medieval king could not have dreamed of. Imagine looking out of your window now. Even if you live in a city, the chaos is organized. The cars stay in their lanes. The waste is hidden away in pipes deep underground. The animals are in the fields or the parks. You are separated from the mess of the world by layers of glass, insulation, and brick. You do not have to watch your step. You do not have to guard your nose against the stench. You are perfectly clean. You are perfectly safe. The walk through the medieval street was a battle for the senses, a constant assault on your comfort. But that walk is over. You do not have to take another step. Let the relief of that wash over your legs. Your calves, which would have been aching from balancing on slippery stones, can now fully relax. Let them sink into the mattress. Your ears, which would have been ringing from the clatter of iron and stone, can now rest in the velvety silence. You are the observer, safe in your tower of the present. You have looked down at the muddy path, and you have chosen not to walk it. Instead, you choose the soft path, the path of dreams, the path of rest. The city of the past continues its noisy, dirty struggle, fading further and further into the distance. But you remain here, suspended in the clean, quiet now. The journey continues, but for a moment, just enjoy the stillness. Enjoy the clean air filling your lungs. Enjoy the dryness. Enjoy the peace. You have navigated the mud. You have survived the morning chill. And now, as the sun begins its slow climb toward the zenith, the true reality of the medieval world sets in. It is time to work. In your modern life, work likely means something of the mind. You might sit in a chair that supports your lumbar spine. You might tap your fingers lightly on a keyboard, moving nothing heavier than a mouse. You might feel mental fatigue, yes, the stress of a deadline, the blur of a screen, but your body remains largely at rest. You are preserving your energy. But in the year 1350, work is a physical assault on the body. It is a calorie-burning, muscle-tearing, bone-wearing act of survival. Let us imagine you're in the fields. This is where most people lived, and this is where you would likely be. There are no tractors here. There are no engines to hum and do the heavy lifting for you. There is only the ox, the plow, and you. Imagine the sensation of gripping the handles of a wooden plow. The wood is smooth, polished, not by sandpaper, but by the sweat and friction of generations of hands before yours. It is heavy. As the ox pulls forward, the metal tip of the plow bites into the earth. The ground fights back. It is full of roots, rocks, and hard-packed clay. Every time the plow hits a resistance, the shock travels up the wooden handles. It shoots through your wrists, rattles your elbows, and explodes into your shoulders. You are not just steering, you are wrestling the earth. You have to lean your entire body weight into the turn, using your legs to drive the blade deep. Step, push, strain, step, push, strain. The rhythm is slow, but it is unrelenting. You are burning energy at a rate that a modern gym session could never replicate. A medieval peasant in the height of the planting season would burn 4,000, perhaps 5,000 calories a day. Feel the phantom sensation of that fatigue. Your lower back, unprotected by ergonomics, begins to throb. Your hamstrings burn with every step through the soft, uneven soil. Your hands, curled into permanent claws around the handles, begin to blister. The blisters pop, the skin tears, and then it hardens. You are developing the thick, leathery calluses of a laborer. And there is no off switch. You cannot stop because you are tired. If you stop, you do not eat next winter. The sun is your timekeeper. As long as there is light, there is labor. Perhaps you are not in the field. Perhaps you are a smith standing by the forge. The heat here is oppressive. The fire roars, hotter than any oven you have ever known. You are holding a hammer, not a lightweight modern tool, but a lump of iron on a hickory stick. You swing it, clang. You lift it, you swing it again, clang. Thousands of times a day. Your shoulder becomes a machine of meat and bone. The vibration of the impact settles deep into your joints. Your ears ring with the noise. The soot from the fire coats your skin, clogging your pores, mixing with the sweat that pours down your face. And then consider the elements. In your modern office or home, the environment is neutral. If it rains outside, you watch it through a window. If the wind howls, you turn up the thermostat. But out here, in the medieval day, you are part of the weather. If it rains, you work in the rain. The cold water soaks through your heavy wool tunic. The fabric becomes even heavier, dragging you down, chilling your muscles, making every movement a fight against friction. If it is summer, the sun beats down on your head without mercy. There is no air conditioning to retreat to. There is no ice water. There is only the salt of your own sweat stinging your eyes. And then consider the elements. In your modern office or home, the environment is neutral. If it rains outside, you watch it through a window. If the wind howls, you turn up the thermostat. But out here, in the medieval day, you are part of the weather. If it rains, you work in the rain. The cold water soaks through your heavy wool tunic. The fabric becomes even heavier, dragging you down, chilling your muscles, making every movement a fight against friction. If it is summer, the sun beats down on your head without mercy. There is no air conditioning to retreat to. There is no ice water. There is only the salt of your own sweat stinging your eyes. This is the unrelenting toil. It is a level of physical engagement with the world that we have forgotten. It is the feeling of being completely used up by the day. But now, let the plow handle slip from your grasp. Let the hammer fall from your hand. Let the sun fade and let the rain stop. Come back to your bed. Come back to this moment. Feel your body now. You are not standing in a muddy field. You are lying on a cloud. Scan your body for a moment. Notice your hands. They are resting gently at your sides or on your chest. They are not gripping anything. They are soft. They are relaxed. There are no blisters. There is no tension. Notice your shoulders. They are not carrying the weight of a yoke or a hammer. They are sinking into the mattress, supported entirely by the bed. You don't have to hold them up. You can let them drop. Notice your back. It is not throbbing from 12 hours of bending over. It is lengthened, it is straight, it is at ease. You are not burning calories right now. You are not fighting for survival. You are in a state of restoration. The contrast between that ancient exhaustion and your current rest is profound. Think of how hard they had to work just to exist. And look at you. You have the luxury of stillness. You have the luxury of doing absolutely nothing. In the medieval world, stillness was a rare commodity. Even when sitting, there was mending to be done, tools to be sharpened. But you have permission to be completely idle. Your muscles have no demands on them. Your bones have no weight to carry. You can feel a wave of heaviness washing over you, but it is a good heaviness. It is not the heaviness of fatigue. It is the heaviness of relaxation. It is gravity hugging you, telling you that you are safe to let go. The medieval laborer would give anything for a bed like yours. They would give anything for a room where the temperature is perfect, where the air is clean, and where the body can truly heal. You have that gift right now. So accept it. Imagine that with every breath you take, you are breathing in the rest that they could never have. With every breath out, you are releasing the phantom tension of the plow. Push the field away. Let the crops grow on their own in the history books. Let the iron cool in the forge. You do not have to lift a finger. You do not earn your rest tonight. It is given to you freely. The sweat has dried, the toil is over. You are floating in the calm, quiet aftermath of a day you didn't have to endure. And as your body sinks deeper into this miraculous comfort, you realize that while the body is resting, the medieval mind had other worries. Worries of the unseen, worries of the frail human form. But those are stories for a moment from now. For this second, there is only the joy of doing nothing. The joy of the soft, still, effortless present. Rest your hands, rest your feet, rest your soul. You are safe. You are warm. You are resting in a time of miracles. We have walked the muddied streets. We have felt the weight of the plow. But now, as the medieval sun begins to dip lower in the sky, we turn our attention inward, to the body itself. In your modern life, your body is a fortress. If you feel a headache coming on, you swallow a small white tablet, and within 20 minutes, the pain vanishes like mist. If you scrape your knee, you wash it, apply an antibiotic ointment, and cover it with a sterile bandage. You trust with absolute certainty that you will heal. But in the year 1350, the body was a mystery. It was a fragile vessel floating on a sea of unknowns. Imagine for a moment the sensation of a simple medieval toothache. You are sitting by the fire. You feel a sharp throb in your jaw. In the modern world, this is an annoyance. You would make an appointment. You would sit in a comfortable chair, numb to the world, and let a professional solve the problem. But in the stone chamber, that throb is a signal of genuine danger. There are no dentists. There is no Novocaine. There is only the tooth drawer in the village square, armed with iron pliers and a strong grip. The fear of pain was a constant companion to the medieval mind. Every twinge, every cough, every fever was a question mark. Is this the end? Is this the imbalance? Because they did not know about bacteria. They did not know about viruses. They believed in the humors. visualize this strange, poetic, yet terrified way of viewing the world. They believed the body was filled with four fluids: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. To be healthy was to be balanced. To be sick was to be overflowing with one of these fluids. If you had a fever, you had too much blood. If you were sad, you had too much black bile. So, how did they heal you? They didn't add medicine, they subtracted fluids. Imagine the village wise woman or the barber surgeon coming to your bedside. The room smells of sickness and wood smoke. They bring out a small glass jar. Inside, swimming in dark water, are the leeches. It is a strange, squirming thought, isn't it? But try to view it through the eyes of the past. The leech was not a monster. It was a medical tool. It was the only hope to draw out the bad blood. You would lie very still. You would feel the cold, wet touch of the creature on your skin. You would wait, praying that as it fed, it would take the fever away with it. You were entirely at the mercy of nature. And then there were the herbs. The air of the medieval sick room was always thick with the scent of crushing leaves. Without pharmacies, the garden was the only medicine cabinet. Imagine the smell: pungent sage, sharp rosemary, bitter wormwood. You would watch the healer grinding these plants in a stone mortar. Grind, grind, grind. The rhythm of the pestle against the stone was the sound of hope. They would mix the crushed leaves with honey or vinegar or old wine. You would drink these concoctions, tasting the bitterness of the earth, hoping that the root of a dandelion or the bark of a willow tree was enough to save you. It was a life of fragility. A simple cut from a rusty nail could turn to gangrene. A common cold could settle into the chest and never leave. The human body was exposed, vulnerable, and defenseless against the invisible armies of microscopic life that no one knew existed. But now, let that anxiety dissolve. Take a deep breath. Fill your modern lungs with clean air. Think of the room you are in. Somewhere in your home, there is a cabinet. Inside that cabinet are bottles and boxes that would seem like sorcery to a medieval king. You have the power to stop infection. You have the power to lower a fever. You have the power to sleep through surgery. You do not have to worry about your humors. You do not have to fear the leech. Your body is protected by centuries of science. You are wrapped in a shield of knowledge. Feel the relief of that truth. It settles into your bones. If you have a pain right now, a sore back, a stiff neck, you know it is temporary. You know it is manageable. You do not have to lie awake wondering if a demon has entered your blood. The fragility of the past highlights the strength of your present. In the medieval world, the body was a burden, a thing to be feared. But tonight, your body is simply a place to rest. It is a warm, functioning machine that needs nothing from you right now except to power down. Let your heart beat. It beats with the rhythm of health. Let your lungs expand. They are clear. Let your skin relax. It is intact, unbroken, and clean. You have survived the era of the plague without ever stepping foot in it. You have bypassed the era of the tooth drawer. You have been born at the precise moment in history when comfort and safety have intersected. Feel a wave of gratitude for the doctors, the scientists, and the researchers who have stripped the fear away from the night. Because of them, you can close your eyes without worry. The herbs of the past, The rosemary, the sage, let them just be pleasant scents in a garden now. They are no longer your only lifeline. They are just decorations. The leeches are back in the pond. The humors are just a story. You are solid, you are whole, you are safe. As the imaginary medieval patient drinks their bitter tonic and prays for the dawn, you can simply fluff your pillow. You can pull the soft duvet up to your chin. There is no fever burning in you. There is only the gentle warmth of sleep. Your body is not fighting a battle tonight. It is enjoying the peace. Let the muscles of your face relax. The worry lines that the ancestors wore are not for you. Let your jaw unclench. There is no pain there. You are a miracle of modern existence drifting on a sea of safety. The day's labor is done. The body's health is assured. And as the sun sets fully in our story, the world begins to change again. The light is fading. The visual world is disappearing. We are approaching the time of shadows, the time when the only light comes from fire. But you have nothing to fear from the dark, because you carry the light of safety within you. Rest now in the certainty of your own health. Sleep knowing that you are protected. We have traveled through the mud. We have felt the rough wool. We have tasted the gritty bread. And perhaps in the back of your mind, a small voice has been whispering, "But surely it was better for the rich. Surely if I were a king or a queen, I would have been comfortable." We have all seen the movies. We imagine the high stone walls, the fluttering banners, the golden goblets, and the roaring fireplaces. We imagine that life inside the castle was a life of ease. But tonight, as you lie in the true luxury of your modern bedroom, let us shatter that illusion. Let us walk across the drawbridge and step inside the reality of a medieval castle. And let us discover why, even wrapped in velvet, the kings of old shivered. Imagine you are standing in the Great Hall. It is a space designed to impress. The ceilings soar high above you, lost in the shadows. The walls are thick, impenetrable stone, designed to withstand siege engines and battering rams. But stone has a property that every castle dweller knew intimately. It holds the cold. A castle is essentially a man-made cave. In the winter, the massive stone blocks absorb the freezing temperatures of the outside air and hold on to them, radiating a deep, bone-chilling cold into the rooms day and night. Look at the fireplace. It is massive, yes. It is big enough to roast an ox. But stand a few feet away from it. The heat from the fire radiates out, but it fights a losing battle against the cavernous size of the room. If you stand facing the fire, your front is scorching hot, perhaps even uncomfortably so. But your back is exposed to the ambient temperature of the room, which might be only a few degrees above freezing. To live in a castle was to live in a constant state of thermal shock. And then there are the windows, or rather, the lack of them. Castles were fortresses first, homes second. The windows were often narrow slits designed for archers to shoot arrows through, not to let sunlight in. They were unglazed, open directly to the elements. To keep the wind out, they were covered with wooden shutters or heavy oilcloth. But the wind is persistent. It finds the gaps. Imagine walking down a long stone corridor. A draft, a steady, invisible river of cold air, is flowing down the hallway. It catches the hem of your robe. It chills your ankles. Even the tapestries hanging on the walls, which look decorative to us, were actually desperate attempts to insulate the room, to stop the cold radiating from the stone. But they flutter. You can see them moving, rippling as the wind goes through the walls. Now, take a deep breath in your modern room. The air is invisible, it is clean. In the castle, the air was visible. To combat the cold, fires burned everywhere, not just in the great hearth, but in braziers and torches lining the walls. But chimneys were primitive, and often the smoke had nowhere to go but up into the rafters. The air inside a castle was a blue-gray haze of wood smoke and burning animal fat. Torches were not the clean-burning candles you might buy at a boutique. They were made of tallow, rendered fat, or pitch. When they burned, they sputtered, they hissed, and they released a greasy black soot that coated everything. If you were a king, your eyes would sting by midday. Your throat would feel scratchy. Your beautiful velvet clothes would permanently smell of smoke and soot. You would cough, not because you were sick, but because you were breathing the exhaust of your own heating system. And what of privacy, the ultimate luxury of the modern age? Right now, you are likely alone or with a partner you chose. The door is closed. The world is locked out. You have your thoughts to yourself. In a castle, privacy did not exist. Solitude was a suspicious concept. A king or a queen was never alone. From the moment they woke until the moment they slept, they were surrounded. Imagine your bedroom, the solar. It is not a private sanctuary. It is a meeting place. Servants are coming and going, stoking the fires, changing the rushes on the floor. Courtiers are standing in the corners, whispering, waiting for a favor. Bodyguards are stationed at the door, or perhaps even sleeping at the foot of the bed. You are always being watched. You are always performing. There is no quiet moment to simply be. There is no curling up with a book in silence. The castle is a hive, echoing with the footsteps of 100 people, their voices bouncing off the hard stone walls. And then there is the most humble yet most telling detail of all, the garderobe. This was the castle toilet. It was not a porcelain seat with sparkling water. It was a small room, usually built into the thickness of the wall. Inside was a wooden bench with a hole. This hole opened directly out into the air, emptying into the moat or a pit far below. Imagine, in the dead of winter, having to leave your warm bed. You walk across the freezing stone floor. You enter the small, dark stone closet. And as you sit, the wind from the outside world rushes up through the opening. The updraft in a castle garderobe was legendary. It was a blast of freezing air hitting the most vulnerable parts of your body. Even the king, in his golden crown, had to endure the freezing updraft of the garderobe. There was no escaping the elements. Now, let the castle walls crumble. Let the heavy tapestries dissolve into dust. Let the smoky torches flicker and die out. Return to your sanctuary. Look at your walls. They are not cold stone. They are insulated drywall, painted a color you chose. They hold the heat in. They keep the wind out. Feel the air in your room. It is not stinging your eyes. It is fresh. It is gentle. Think of your privacy. The door is shut. No one is watching you. No guards are standing by your bed. You are the master of your own solitude. You have a level of comfort that Louis XIV or Henry VIII could not have purchased with all the gold in their treasuries. They could build armies, they could conquer nations, but they could not buy a central heating system. They could not buy a double-paned window. They could not buy a soft memory foam mattress. You are living in a palace that is superior in every way that matters to the physical body. The stone castle was a trap of cold and noise. Your home is a nest of warmth and silence. Let this realization sink deep into your mind. You do not need to envy the past. The crown was heavy, and the head that wore it was usually cold. But your head is resting on a soft pillow. Your blanket is pulled up high. You are the ruler of this quiet, warm kingdom. The draft cannot find you here. The smoke cannot reach you here. You are warmer than a king. You are safer than a queen. And as the castle fades into the mist of history, we realize that with the setting of the sun, another challenge arose for our ancestors. The day is done, the work is done, but now the light is gone. We are approaching the time of true darkness, the time when the world disappeared. But you have nothing to fear from the night. Rest in your warm, private palace. Sleep knowing you have the best the world has ever offered. The day of labor is finished. The plow has been put away. The castle gates are barred. And now we witness the most dramatic transformation of the medieval world. The sun begins to touch the horizon. In your modern life, sunset is merely a shift in aesthetics. The sky turns pink and orange, a beautiful backdrop for your commute or your evening meal. As the natural light fades, the artificial light rises to meet it. Street lights flicker on with a hum. Headlights cut through the dusk. In your home, you flip a switch and the room is instantly flooded with a steady white brilliance. You push the night away without a second thought. But in the year 1350, the setting sun was not just a view, it was a deadline. It was the closing of a heavy curtain. Imagine standing in that medieval room as the light begins to fail. There is no dimmer switch. There is no ambient glow from the city outside, because the city has no lights. As the sun dips below the edge of the world, the colors in the room begin to drain away. The red of the embers turns to gray. The brown of the wood turns to black. This is the arrival of true darkness. Most of us in the modern world have never experienced true darkness. Even when we camp in the woods, there is the glow of a distant town on the horizon, or the light of the moon. But in the medieval era, on a moonless night, the darkness was absolute. It was a physical weight. It is a darkness so thick you feel you could touch it. It is like ink poured into water, swirling and filling every corner until the world is erased. If you were to hold your hand in front of your face in a medieval room at night, you would not see it. You would be blind. The world shrinks down to the size of your own body. Everything beyond your reach, the door, the window, the table, ceases to exist visually. You are alone in the void. This darkness brought a stillness that is hard for us to comprehend. With no electricity, there was no hum of the refrigerator, no fan spinning, no distant traffic, just the silence and the blackness. To combat this encroaching abyss, you have only one tool, the candle. But do not imagine the candles you have on your mantelpiece. Clean wax, scented with vanilla or lavender, burning with a steady golden flame. Those are luxuries of the future. You have a tallow candle or a rushlight. Tallow is rendered animal fat, beef or mutton fat. It is cheap and it is available, but it is a poor substitute for the sun. Imagine lighting it. You strike a spark, blowing gently into the tinder until a small, fragile flame catches the wick. The light it casts is not white. It is a dim, brownish yellow. It does not illuminate the room. Instead, it creates a small, trembling sphere of light, perhaps 2 feet across. Inside that sphere, you can see your hands, you can see the table. But outside that sphere, the shadows loom even taller. The candle creates deep, dancing shadows that stretch up the walls, flickering and twisting with every breath of air. And then there is the smell. Tallow does not smell like vanilla. As the fat burns, it releases a greasy, acrid odor. It smells of the kitchen, of old meat. It produces a thick, black smoke that rises in a thin ribbon, staining the ceiling and irritating your nose. You have to tend to it constantly. The wick does not burn away on its own. It curls over and becomes a snuff, dimming the flame. You have to reach out with your fingers or a pair of iron scissors and trim the burning wick every few minutes to keep the light alive. It is a high-maintenance relationship with light. And it is precious. Candles cost money. Fat cost money. You do not burn them wastefully. You do not stay up late reading or talking just for the fun of it. When the candle burns low, the night wins. This is why the medieval world slept. They did not have insomnia in the way we do, staring at blue screens that trick our brains into thinking it is known. When the world went dark, the body followed. But you are lying in the dark by choice. Feel the darkness of your room right now. It is not an encroaching enemy. It is a soft blanket you have pulled over yourself. If you opened your eyes, you might see the faint outline of your window, lit by the starlight or the street lamp. You are not trapped in the void. You know exactly where the door is. You know that if you needed it, you could summon the sun with the touch of a button. You are the master of the light. The darkness you feel now is not the true darkness of the past. It is a gentle, filtered darkness. It is designed to help you release melatonin. It is designed to signal to your brain that it is time to rest. In the medieval stone chamber, the darkness was filled with superstition. The night was when the spirits walked. The night was when the wolves howled. The night was the time of fear. But here, in your time, the night is the time of peace. The shadows in your room are not monsters. They are just the absence of light, waiting for the morning. Imagine blowing out that smelly tallow candle. Puff. The acrid smoke clears. The smell of fat vanishes. You are back in the fresh, clean air of your bedroom. The darkness is smooth. It is velvety. It is quiet, but it is not heavy. You can close your eyes, and the darkness behind your eyelids is exactly the same as the darkness in the room. It is a seamless transition.
You do not have to trim the wick. You do not have to worry about the fire burning down to the table. You do not have to fear what is lurking in the corner, because you know there is nothing there but your laundry basket or your chair. You are safe in the electric age. Let the gratitude for this safety wash over you. The vanishing sun is not a threat to you. It is a promise. It is a promise that you can stop, you can rest, you can drift. The world of 1350 is plunged into pitch black, a world where men and women huddled under furs, waiting for the return of the light. But you do not have to wait. You are simply taking a break. Sink deeper into the mattress. Let the darkness wrap around you like a second quilt. It is protecting you from the stimulation of the day. It is holding you in a suspended state of calm. The tallow candle is out. The stone room is gone. There is only the soft, endless, comfortable night of the present. Drift into it. Let the shadows be your friends. They are closing the day for you,
sealing it away so that you can sleep. And as we leave the visual world behind, as we embrace the blindness of sleep, we realize that there is one more thing the past holds, one more contrast. It is the concept of silence and the things that are missing from the world. But for now, just float in the gentle dark. We have spent our journey tonight walking the cobblestones of the Middle Ages. We have felt the cold stone and the scratchy wool. But the title of our story contains two small, significant words, and more. Because the experience of the past is not limited to just one century. The history of humanity is a vast ocean of time, and for almost all of it, there was one constant companion that has now all but vanished from our lives. That companion is silence. Lie there in your bed and listen. Really listen. Even in the quietest modern home, there is a hum. It is the faint vibration of the refrigerator in the kitchen. It is the distant whoosh of a car passing 3 streets away. It is the low-frequency rumble of a jet plane cruising at 30,000 feet, barely audible, but present. It is the sound of electricity itself, coursing through the wires in your walls, a digital pulse that never stops. But if we were to drift to any other time, to the Victorian era, to the American frontier, to ancient Rome, we would find a world that had not yet learned to hum. Imagine the silence of a world without the engine. For thousands of years, the loudest sound on earth was a clap of thunder. The loudest man-made sound was the ringing of a church bell or the blast of a cannon. But in the spaces between those events, the world was quiet. Picture a cabin on the American prairie in the 1800s. You are miles from your nearest neighbor. There are no highways. There are no flight paths. When the wind stops blowing through the tall grass, the silence is so absolute it rings in your ears. It is a deep, heavy stillness. In that time, you could hear a horse approaching from a mile away. You could hear the scratching of a beetle in the wall. You could hear your own heartbeat. This is the silence of the centuries. For the people living then, this silence could be terrifying. It meant isolation. It meant that if you called out for help, no one would hear you. It meant you were truly alone in the vastness of nature. But for you, lying here tonight, surrounded by the safety of the modern world, this ancient silence is a gift. It is a mental space you can borrow. Think about the absence of the phone. In the and more of history, there was no concept of being connected. There were no notifications, no pings, no phantom vibrations in your pocket. If you were a Victorian gentleman or lady sitting in your parlor and the sun went down, the world outside simply ceased to exist. You did not know what was happening in the news. You did not know what your friends were eating for dinner. You did not have the collective anxiety of the world streaming into your hand. You sat, you watched the fire, you thought. That level of disconnection is something we pay thousands of dollars for today at wellness retreats. We call it a digital detox. But for our ancestors, it was just Tuesday. Imagine the peace of that disconnection. Imagine the feeling of knowing that no one can reach you. No one expects a reply. The postman has come and gone. Nothing else will arrive until tomorrow. You are released from the burden of communication. Let's drift further back. Imagine the silence of ancient Rome at night. No engines, no sirens, just the soft slap of sandals on stone, fading into the dark. Imagine the silence of a library in the 1700s. The only sound is the scratching of a quill pen on parchment. Scratch, scratch, dip. A rhythm of thought and ink. This quietude is the more that we are exploring. It is the realization that the human brain was designed for stillness. It was evolved to exist in a quiet world, not a noisy one. When you feel overwhelmed by the modern day, it is often because you are overstimulated. You are hearing too much, you are processing too much. But right now, in this story, you are unplugging the world. You are turning off the engines of the 21st century. Imagine that with every breath you take, you are muting a different sound. Breathe out, and the traffic noise vanishes. Breathe out, and the hum of the computer fades. Breathe out, and the notification bells are silenced. You are sinking into the deep, velvet quiet of the past, but without the isolation. You are not lonely, you are simply alone. And there is a difference. In the past, silence was a necessity. In the present, it is a luxury. You have the power to close your eyes and enter that cabin on the prairie. You can sit by that fire in the Victorian parlor. You can float in the stillness of a world that is asleep. There is no rush here. There is no urgency. The fast-paced rhythm of modern life has not been invented yet. Time moves slower in the silence. It stretches out. An hour feels like a day. A minute feels like an hour. This is the tempo of sleep. The medieval peasant, the pioneer, the ancient scholar, they all shared this one thing. When the work was done, the quiet came. And with the quiet came the rest. They didn't have to try to meditate. The world meditated for them. Feel that ancient stillness wrapping around your mind. It is pressing pause on your thoughts. The chatter of your inner monologue is slowing down, matching the slow rhythmic breathing of a sleeping world. You are entering the great silence. It is a soft, dark space where nothing is demanded of you. The history books are closed. The wars are over. The inventions are yet to be made. There is just the earth, there is just the sky, and there is just you, breathing. The isolation of the past was a challenge for survival, yes, but tonight it is your sanctuary. You are isolated from stress. You are isolated from noise. You are isolated from worry. You are an island of calm in the river of time. Let the silence fill your room. Let it fill your ears. It is heavier than a blanket and softer than a cloud. The engines have stopped. The phones are silent. The world has stopped spinning just for a moment to let you catch up, to let you rest. And as we float in this profound, historical quiet, we prepare for the final step of our journey. We have seen the cold, the mud, the work, and the dark. We have listened to the silence. Now it is time to come home. It is time to leave the past behind completely and land softly, gently back in the warmth of the now. The journey is almost done. The sleep is almost here. Stay in the quiet. Let it hold you.
We are coming home now. We have traveled far tonight. We have drifted through the mists of the 14th century. We have walked the muddy roads, shivered in the stone chambers, and watched the flickering tallow candles fight against the dark. We have felt the weight of history, the heaviness of the wool, the hardness of the bread, and the silence of the ages. But now the journey is ending. Imagine the timeline speeding up. The years are flying by like leaves in the wind. The year 1350 fades into 1500, 1700, 1900. The stone castles crumble and turn into dust. The wooden carts dissolve. The mud dries up,
and becomes paved roads. The silence is filled with the hum of progress, and then quieted again by the insulation of your walls. You are landing gently, softly, back in the present moment, back in the warmth of now. Take a deep breath. Feel the air in your lungs. It is not the smoky, cold air of a medieval winter. It is the clean, conditioned air of your sanctuary. Exhale slowly, and with that breath, let go of the past. The title of our story was Why You Wouldn't Last a Day in Medieval Times. And perhaps that is true. It was a hard, unforgiving world. But the beautiful truth, the truth that wraps around you tonight like a warm embrace, is that you don't have to. You do not have to last a day in the Middle Ages. You have been born into the era of the soft landing. Feel your bed beneath you right now. Really feel it. Contrast it one last time with the straw mattress on the damp floor. Your mattress is a miracle of engineering. It supports you perfectly. It is consistent. It is dry. It is clean. Feel the blanket covering you. It is not a heavy, scratchy animal skin. It is a cloud of fabric, woven for softness, designed to keep you at the perfect temperature. You are floating in a luxury that emperors and pharaohs could never have imagined. They built pyramids and conquered nations, yet they never experienced a night of sleep as the one you are having right now. You are the beneficiary of all of human history, all the struggle, all the invention, all the trial and error of the centuries. It has all led to this moment, to this room, to this bed, so that you can rest in perfect peace. Let the relief of that sink into your muscles. You don't have to worry about the cold. The thermostat is watching over you. You don't have to worry about the dark. The lights are at your command, but you have chosen the darkness for rest. You don't have to worry about the silence. You are safe in your home, behind locked doors, protected by the modern world. Everything is taken care of. The plague is gone. The famine is gone. The wolves are gone. There is only you. There is only this bed. Scan your body one last time. Start at your toes. Are they cold? No, they are warm. Wiggle them gently, then let them be still. Move up to your legs. Are they tired from walking through the mud? No, they are rested. They have done no heavy labor today. Let them sink into the mattress. Move to your stomach. It is not cramping from hunger or sour ale. It is at peace. Move to your hands. They are not blistered from the plow. They are soft. Uncurl your fingers. Let them rest open, receiving the gift of sleep. Move to your mind. The medieval mind was filled with the anxiety of survival. Will the harvest last? Will the fire go out? But your mind does not need to carry those burdens. You have food in the kitchen. You have heat in the pipes. You have a roof that will not leak. You can lay your burdens down. The survival mode is switched off. You are safe. I want you to visualize the history book closing. It is a heavy leather-bound book. You see the pages turning, the knights, the peasants, the stone walls, all disappearing as the cover gently falls shut. Thud. A soft, muffled sound. The story is over. The history is put away on the shelf. Now there is only the velvet of the present that we spoke of in the beginning, is now covering you completely. It is a feeling of absolute security. Drift deeper. The sounds of my voice are becoming distant now. I am just a whisper in the room, reminding you that everything is all right. You are returning to the warmth of your own body, reflected back to you by the covers. The warmth of a life that is easier, softer, and kinder than the past. If you have worries about tomorrow, about your modern work or your modern life, let them fade. Compared to the struggle of the stone chamber, these are small things. You can handle them, but you do not have to handle them now. Now is for sleep. The castle is dark, the village is quiet, but your home is a beacon of peace. Allow yourself to feel heavy, heavier than the iron plow, heavier than the stone blocks. But it is a good heaviness. It is the gravity of sleep pulling you down, anchoring you to this safe harbor. You have made it. You are here. The muddy path is far behind you. The rough wool is gone. The smoke has cleared. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to learn. There is nothing left to fear. Just the soft rise and fall of your chest. Just the gentle rhythm of the night. You are warm. You are safe. You are loved by the comfort of this moment. Sleep now. Drift away from the history and into the dreams. The soft landing is complete. You are home. Good night.